I was talking on the drive today. Oh, some kind of interesting. We on the drive today, we were up in the mountains, such as it is outside of San Diego. It's nothing like, like super high elevation, but we saw this guy walking down the road carrying an American flag on his back. And I don't know if it's legit, but he called himself a war baby. That he was somebody that was born out of the Vietnam War. He might have been Vietnamese or Cambodian, I can't remember. And he was walking across the United States. I think he said he started somewhere in Florida, and here he is in the mountains, probably maybe 30 miles from the coast, maybe. And he was walking shore to shore. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping to see him on the local news tonight. If I try to remember to watch, I'll watch. It was kind of interesting. I shot a little bit of footage of him, and then Tim shot some footage. And let me tell you a little bit about Tim in case you're curious about in the real world. Yes, he does make me nervous a little bit, but I like the guy. And like I've said, some of my other YouTube friends, I'd love to meet them in the real. And I'm going to stay out of it. You guys can, Tim is one of the type of people. My little brother's like that. If you start something with him, when he feels that some things were started with him, he won't just go tat for tat, even. No, he'll go back, several times, or hundreds of times, or whatever he said. He said a lot. It's not enough just to get even. He just wants to pound you down. But in YouTube, yes, what do you win? What do you win? A bowl of popcorn. Well, anyway, there's a lot of people in these wars on YouTube that they just declare victory. And that's the way it goes. And I drink coffee and babble incoherently. I was thinking maybe I should start using Dr. Bender's tobacco pipe as another prop while I'm doing my videos. And then I'm trying to fulfill like the news and knowledge section. What can I educate people on? What do I know? I mean, I've got a head full of trivia. That's me, But I just know random stuff. Like today, I remembered who Jack Parr was. Okay? That for me is like the random stuff that I remember. Yes, I do know some stuff about movies, and I'm a child that spent a lot of time in front of the television, and there's a lot of like things that I learned, and it's in my memory that I kind of have no recollection of why it's in there. But I'm also a reader, and I try to read the newspaper every day, but I've sort of been slacking off. And I'm looking at some of these headlines. There was somebody who accused me, what do you just read the newspaper and then talk about it? Okay, what does any news person do? I do interject my own opinion, but right now, I mean, everybody was talking about Balloon Boy, And at first, I had the theory that when that little kid went on there and they said, why, when you were hiding and they heard your parents calling, how come you didn't come out? Excuse me. And he said it was for the show. I initially had a theory that the parents were so convincing that they were upset about the loss of their son that I thought the boys themselves cooked it up because they enjoyed being on television so much. But now it's kind of looking like the father and mother might have been involved. And I'll tell you, it's not the first time that somebody has created a grand hoax. There was a televangelist, a radio probably evangelist, back in the 30s. And I should have researched this, but she was a woman, and she had such a strong following. She was part of the Pentecostal wing of the church, of the Protestant church, and she was on radio, and she had these like big rallies, and it was a Depression era, and people, when times are tough, they turn to faith. Hey, me included, and you can say I'm soft in the head, fine, and she just had like this big following, and at some point she disappeared, and And everybody was wondering where she was. She was supposedly kidnapped. And she tried to, like, work it out that she was kidnapped. Well, it turned out, no, she was having an affair with some man, and they went down into Mexico to get away from it and, have a little lovey-dovey. And they weren't married. And I guess she tried to make a comeback, but it never quite happened. And if any of you know this woman's name, I want to say Schuler or something, but it's sort of the, what was that movie with Burt Lancaster? Oh, I can't think of it. Elmer Gantry. The movie with, it's sort of based on that idea, but it was a female. Elmer Gantry, they might have based that movie, except made it a man instead, based the movie on that woman. Catherine Kuhlman. Oh, that could be wrong. Anyway, I remember I grew up Pentecostal, and so I can remember there was a little stuff in some of the old literature about her. And not that they would, talk about that other stuff, but I saw this on a documentary. And who was it? Was it Sinclair Lewis? Lewis Sinclair. Sinclair Lewis, I think. Lewis Sinclair. I get those mixed up. I'm sorry. Hey, this is from not doing research. This is just picking it out of my brain here. But the man that said, when fascism comes to the United States, it'll be wrapped in the flag and carrying a Bible. And that was an indication, because that woman brought a sort of militaristic style movement. These Christians were wearing uniforms, and the Salvation Army is not that sort of thing. It's much different. She wasn't doing what the Salvation... She was sort of doing what the Salvation Army was, but she was getting political. She was trying to sway voters. And it was a very white sort of thing, and it was a form of theocratic fascism, and it was tying in companies and corporate interests and gathering money.